Thank you, Handel. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with some good news that Belize is now down to 0 active COVID-19 cases. Health officials in the country confirmed recently that the last 2 active cases have recovered as their second test is now negative. However, the preventative measures will continue all across sectors as the numbers for neighboring countries increase. Neighboring Guatemala has reported 730 cases, with 46 new cases being in eastern, including Petén, part of Guatemala. Meanwhile, across in Antigua, barbers, hairdressers, and nail salons may open immediately under newly revised COVID-19 prevention measures. But the government says with all the necessary preventative measures put in place, masks are to be worn at all times during the exercise. Social distancing between and among the operators and customers is required, and social distancing practiced within and outside of the establishment is imposed. The government said later in a news conference that followed cabinet that the government will commence consultations with the churches next week as to the best way to reopen the churches. All members of a single household may sit together in a church. It also said that the rules governing social distancing apply, requiring 2 pews to separate the household clusters. In addition, all are required to wear masks in church and when driving to church. Where the size of a church building will not allow for members to attend and to abide by the social distancing 6-foot rule, that church may consider holding several services throughout the worship day instead. In Denham Town, Jamaica, an 8-year-old girl was at home on her veranda when she was hit by a bullet fired by men in the area. It happened near one of the zone's special operations checkpoints in the community. Earlier, a 15-year-old boy was shot dead in the neighboring Tivoli garden. Further details on both incidents were not immediately available. According to the police, 2 firearms have since been recovered and 1 man is in police custody. And now for our final story coming out of Dominica. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has rejected an EC $8 million proposal from the Dominican Social Security to aid people who have become unemployed due to the impact of the coronavirus. The proposal invited the government of Dominica to dole out EC $9.5 million to fund additional COVID-19 relief measures. However, the proposal has been met with criticism and questions about the legitimacy of the proposal, among other issues. Among the critics, opposition leader Lennox Linton said the document was a raid on the Social Security Fund. In response to the assessment of the document, DSS Director Janice Jean-Jacques Thomas explained the Dominican Social Security as a major pillar of Dominica social protection mechanism, and like almost all other social security systems within CARICOM, felt it necessary to take action to recommend a measure that would provide a level of income relief to ensure persons who have been displaced from work as a result of disruption in business due to the coronavirus. In her update last week, she noted that the DSS is awaiting passage of the necessary legislative provision that will effect a recommendation from the institution to provide relief to people who have been impacted as a result of COVID-19. Well, that has brought us to the end of tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Handel.